Hello everyone, welcome to another special edition here on Prime Take. Today we're having a conversation with a man who led Ghana, specifically our senior national team, the Black Stars, to the FIFA World Cup in 2006. It was the first time ever that Ghanaians were given the opportunity to see the national team participate in a global football fiesta like the FIFA World Cup, and he did so two more times, in 2010 and 2014. A privilege to be speaking to the former president of the Ghana Football Association, former vice president of the Confederation of African Football, former FIFA Council member, Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. I am Nabila Abdullahi. Mr. Nyantakyi, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
How are you doing?
For the opportunity. I'm good. And you?
I'm also doing well. It's
Nice.
been a while.
Yeah. A day like another.
You've disappeared a bit from the football space.
Yes. I've gone underground.
Talk to us briefly. How did you get into football?
For some of us, I think out of interest and passion. I used to play football when I was young.
Wow.
Yes. Growing up a while, I used to play football. And that earned me the accolade polo. Due to my immense skills in
Just
dribbling.
like Mohamed Polo?
All those polos in the world or in Ghana were named after Mohamed Polo.
Wow.
Yes, Mohamed Polo had a lasting effect or impression on up-and-coming football talents dotted across the country.
Yeah.
Every community in Ghana, not every town, every community in Ghana had a polo. For instance, in Accra, maybe you went to Dansoma and you find a polo at the Bracao.
So it will be
Yes.
Dansoman Polo?
Yes. So you come to where you
so
find...
you were...
No, I was not the only polo in Wa. There were other polos. Different sections of the town had polos.
Oh, okay.
If you could dribble like 3 people on the stretch and... and that was to recognize you as a budding talent for the future, and also christening you after the greatest footballer of the time when we were growing up was Mohamed Polo.
So that's how you got into football?
Then in school, I played a bit, but this was just playing football as a pastime occupation, and also trying to express yourself in the game. Then we became followers of football. I remember there was a team in Wa called Upper West Heroes. Most of the players, the core players of the team, were the core team of Wa Secondary School.
Oh, wow.
So all of us became natural supporters of Upper West Heroes. So Master Kunedi was one of them, Nuru Ahmed was one of them, Gaspar Dere was one of them, and many others, even Kwame Ayu, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so in 1989, when that team qualified to the Premiership, then I was in Legon. We used to go to the stadium to watch them anytime they came around to play matches. Then after school, I became the Accra rep for that team.
Oh, okay.
Upper West Heroes.
Oh, okay.
Then I became the vice chairman of the club, and then that was my story of progressing into mainstream football administration.
So that was the genesis of you getting into the football space?
That's correct. Then in 2005, so when Upper West Heroes folded up, I formed a team in Wa called Wa All Stars in 2005. Right from second division, it was promoted to the first division, and then to the Premiership in 2007. And Upper West Wa All Stars remained in the Premiership up to 2018. And for all this time, I was actively engaged in football. So as rep of Wa All Stars, in 2000 and no, as rep of Upper West Heroes in 2001, there were elections in Galka, and I contested and became an executive member of Galka as the representative for Division 1 clubs.
Yes.
And then in 2004, I contested another election in Galka as the vice chairman, which is equivalent to the vice president of
the GFA?
GFA. The vice chairman of Galka was the vice chairman of
the GFA then?
The GFA, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This was a structure similar to what operates in England and South Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
And in South Africa, the chairman of the league becomes the vice chairman
of the FA.
And then in England, the chairman of the club rep becomes the vice chairman of the FA.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So that was the kind of structure until 2005, when a total overhaul of the architecture for football management in Ghana was reviewed.
Yes.
And a new structure put in place where we had the FA president and executive committee members. So I contested election in December 2005 and got elected as the first president under the new statute, which have remained in force up to date.
At what point did you feel that, no, I could become the GFA president?
I believe that when I became the vice chairman, of GALCA and also vice chairman of the FA,
yes.
On a few occasions I acted as the chairman.
Okay.
And when the chairman unceremoniously resigned,
yes.
I became the acting chairman. So in that position, I gathered some experience. In the office of the chairman, and that metamorphosed into the president.
And many people said you were very young around that time.
Maybe, considering that before me,
yes.
there were far older people who
had occupied
the position.
Yes.
Even in 2005, when I attended the FIFA Congress in Morocco, I remember, and I was introduced as the vice chairman then.
Yeah.
Then the delegations even from Europe were represented by very old people,
yes.
who were in their 70s.
Wow.
They marveled that somebody in his 30s could be vice chairman of the federation. And it was unimaginable. But it is because at that time, football had probably been entrusted into the hands of very old people.
Yes, yes.
People who went into it after retirement. But with time, the realization has dawned on all of us that we probably need to inject newer blood, younger people, more energetic people to assume the reins of authority in football and give it the dynamism and vibrancy that it deserves.
Tell us how you won that 2005 GFA elections.
Oh, it's a long story. It's a long story. I was lucky that I had a lot of clubs backing me. I was then the vice chairman and acting chairman, and a lot of people thought that they could entrust the destiny of the game as far as management was concerned into my hands. They saw what I did. Before that, even I used to do a lot of pro bono cases at the FA, defending clubs at the discipline committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did a lot
because of your legal background.
Yes, yes. So I had a lot of relationships with clubs, you know, and they thought that if I was elevated higher the ladder, I could be more useful to them. And I also serve on a lot of committees at the FA. Many ad hoc committees on issues, salaries of staff, regulations of the FA, issues like commissions of inquiry in the nature of that. I remember non-payment of 10% due the GFA by some clubs, including the Olympics. I chaired that committee. I also serve on the legal committee of the FA. I serve on Division 1 League Board. I serve on the executive committee before becoming, So I serve on the appeals committee. At that time, the appeals committee was constituted by some appointed members who were outside football and some members from the executive council on account of their background in football.
Oh, okay.
So I also serve on the appeals committee when Justice I.R. Abuaje was the chairman.
Oh, okay.
So I had a lot of experience.
Your life has been football, isn't it?
Yes, I've spent the best part of my youthful life
in football.
In football.
Then and neglecting what you rather studied in school, which is the law.
Yeah, it's true. But I think that as a lawyer, wherever you find yourself, It's the same mentality that you apply.
Oh, okay.
It's not, law has so many facets.
Yeah.
You can be a lawyer without even going to court. Advocacy is just one
Oh,
aspect
okay.
of it.
Oh, okay.
Some
Okay.
people do corporate legal practice in their offices, advising clients, drafting agreements and opinions here and there. And it's also another form of legal practice.
Oh, okay.
Some people remain in the banks as bank lawyers. Some are with the local authorities. Some are with corporate,
Yeah.
what's it called, state institutions.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, all of them. Wherever you are, it's the same mindset, the same training, the same standards and skills that you acquire. You apply them wherever you are.
Within this very window, when you became the GFA president, that was the first time Ghana qualified to participate in the FIFA World Cup. 2006 was a maiden edition that Ghana took part in, and then there was the 2010, there was the 2014 World Cup. Talk to us about how you were able to secure that qualification to the FIFA World Cup. How did you do it? Because we had so many quality players who never secured a ticket.
That's correct. That's correct. I think that the team that qualified Ghana to the World Cup in 2005 was one of the best. Not necessarily the best up to that time.
Yeah.
There could have been better teams
Yeah.
in the 90s that did not get the opportunity to qualify.
Yeah.
But a number of factors contributed to the successful story that was told in 2005. I believe that the government of the day did a great job.
Okay.
The president at the time, realizing that Ghana had never been to the World Cup, in spite of the
quality,
talent that
yeah.
we had in abundance, set up a big committee, I think a 15 or 16 member committee.
which was just a World Cup committee?
Yes, World Cup committee.
Wow.
But it didn't work. But the government was very committed.
Oh, okay.
President Kufuor at that time decided to introduce some incentives to the team to motivate them to do their best.
Yes.
I remember that per diem for the team used to be half of what they earned subsequently. It was not $100 a day, but it was $50. He doubled it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, he made an announcement at the Accra Sports Stadium on the eve of the team's trip to Ouagadougou to start the World Cup campaign. And the bonuses were tripled. Then, not bonuses, the
per diem.
The per diem was doubled.
Yeah.
Then the bonuses, I don't know whether there was a structured bonus scheme before 2005. But what happened in 2005 was that the bonus was more or less performance-based.
Oh, okay.
So government decided, bonuses were a meager sum of money. Government decided to increase it to, I think it was $1,000. They increased it to $2,000.
Wow.
Yes. And then just around the corner, we signed a sponsorship with our major sponsor, Goldfields Ghana Limited.
Yes.
So from the sponsorship, the GFA added another $1,000 to the sponsor. $3,000 was the bonus for the match. So we lost our first match in Ouagadougou, if you recall.
Yes, yes.
Then we had to play our second match here against South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah. And the bonus was announced as $3,000 US. You know.
So it means that money was at the forefront of motivating the team.
One of, because money is quantifiable.
Yes.
You can easily say, but it was not at the forefront.
Oh, okay.
I'm just telling you one of the contributory factors
to how Ghana qualified for the World Cup.
But I also believe that management was really at the forefront.
Oh, okay.
Because we brought some dynamism and modern management practices into the running of the team.
The game.
At that time, we said, let's run the Football Association and the Black Stars like any private company. We apply all the principles that we learn in business school. And make sure we motivate, we plan well, we coordinate things, you know, and ensure that we get the best out of these players. So we used to engage them a lot. We had meetings with players, their bonuses, their earnings, their conditions for engagement with the team were all discussed and agreed with them. So more or less a social contract was
that
signed
you had
between
with
us.
the,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
So if you ask Stephen Appiah, Lai Kingston, Gordon Atram, John Mensah,
yes.
John Pintle,
Michael Essien
Sule Muntari, Asamoah and Co., they will tell you the kind of engagements that we had with them. Beside that, we were lucky to have all these things. We also had a committed group of young men who were interested in dying for their country.
For the country.
If we look at the trajectory of progress of the team, you will see that a lot of them progressed from the under-17 in the 90s.
Yes.
Then the under-20 team that went to the World Cup in 2001.
2001,
yeah,
Argentina.
Some of them played at the Mali tournament in 2002.
Yes.
And then in 2004, some of them were also playing for the Olympic team. 2005, they were ripe to play for the national team and deliver. They were at the prime of their careers. Yeah. Michael Essien had just joined Chelsea. For a transfer fee of 24 million pounds.
Yeah.
You know, a record by then.
Yeah.
And they were all at the prime, the peak of their careers. You know, so we had a very good team. We had a technical team led by this Serbian.
Djukovic.
Yes.
Ratomir
Djukovic was also very committed with the rest of his technical team, the medical team, the team psychologists, and so forth and so on.
But
I think that
yes,
the country also did us a favor by rallying their support around the team.
Okay.
The euphoria around the country then was that we must qualify. This was our time.
Yes.
This was our time. And so the media, the general citizenry, and everybody was interested in seeing this team qualify. And by the grace of God, we did qualify.
As an inexperienced team, because this was the first time the team was going to the World Cup, I remember in the group of Italy, Czech Republic, US, people were like, oh, we're going to be knocked out within the first round. How did you prepare for that tournament and to ensure that we were able to secure qualification beyond the group stage?
Yes, I've always said it that planning, as I told you, good management practices, planning is key.
Yeah. And
we needed to plan well because we were really underdogs.
Yes, we were.
Many did not give us a dog's chance. They didn't think that Ghana was capable of coming out of the group. Yeah. This was a group made up of Czech Republic, which was number 2 at the time
in the world.
the world. Yeah. Then you had
Italy,
which was number 6 at the time. And
the
USA was like 11th or 12th at the time.
Yes.
We were languishing down the ladder of FIFA ranking. and that underdog status was what really propelled our team, because there wasn't so much attention and focus on us. But we concentrated on doing the basics and doing the right thing. So if you recall, we played 3 very good friendly matches.
Yes.
We played Turkey in Bochum. We played Jamaica in Leicester.
I recall
and then we played South Korea in one of these Scottish cities in Scotland.
Yeah.
So by the time the World Cup was ready, we were equally ready. So we took the world by storm.
But we lost to Turkey in the final match. I do recall that game.
Yeah.
And we beat Jamaica
4-0.
4-0.
Yes.
I recall
and
that.
South Korea 3-1.
South Korea 3-1.
Yes. That boosted the confidence of the team. If you recall, I think one of the goals that Sule Muntari scored against South Korea was similar to the goal he scored against the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
That was his hallmark.
Yeah.
You know, and everything that they did on the pitch was more of a dress rehearsal, something they had done before.
How come Lai Kingston did not make that squad? Because when CAF brought the sanctions, in fact, he was one of our best players. And many had said, oh, you could have appealed. What happened? Why did Lai Kingston?
Lai Kingston, unfortunately, was suspended through the red card in Egypt.
In the game against Senegal.
Yeah, during the AFCON in 2006. Yeah. And Ghana appealed. The truth of the matter was that the appeal was filed out of time. It was filed out of time. Yes. It was filed out of time.
How did you forget to
somebody's negligence at the time. I remember this gentleman, Alex Asante, brought me the sanction in my room in the hotel at Port Said. I was then seated with Obi Amoah.
Who was the deputy
he
sports
was the
minister?
deputy sports minister. Then I asked Alex to hand over the document to another official to handle. And then we all concentrated on other things, hoping that this thing will be done. And it was not done. So the time that we all came back to look at it, it had not been done. And the time for filing an appeal had elapsed. And when the time for filing an appeal elapses, there is no other way you can even be heard, unless you go for extension of time within which to file the appeal. But in football, we don't do extension of time to file appeal. So unfortunately, that's how Lai Yukinson didn't make it to the World Cup. It was a very painful experience for us. Nevertheless, we went to the World Cup, lost the first game to Italy, but won the two subsequent games and made it to the second round.
and Czech Republic.
Unfortunately, we met the almighty Brazil, and they whipped us 3-0.
3-0.
But having been to the World Cup for the first time, we thought that the team did well by going
that
to
was
the
a success.
round.
Yes, that was a success.
In fact, in our business plan for 2006-2010, our target was to make it to the second round. We did achieve that target.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Tell me briefly, it was during the 2006 World Cup that, quote unquote, many Ghanaians say was the genesis of appearance fee that came into the picture, and that resulted in the 2014 World Cup. I know we'll get there, how we prepared, and all, that's some of the stories that transpired in there. Now tell us, how did the bonuses come into the picture, the appearance fee and all that? Because appearance fee, they were alien to our football.
Of course. Before we went to the World Cup, appearance fee was alien to all of us. The issue of appearance fee cropped up when we were playing the last friendly match against Korea in Scotland, Edinburgh. That's the name of the city, Edinburgh. When we went to Edinburgh, the players drew our attention based on intelligence they had gathered from their colleagues in other European teams.
So you were working with the BNI and CIDs and all that?
Including the current coach of the Black Stars.
Otoado?
Yeah, he was one of the players. And he had a lot of information because he knew all the players in the German national team. So they shared with us. They shared with their colleagues and shared with us that FIFA was going to pay some money, which has to be shared amongst players as what they call appearance fee. So we needed to tell them how much they were going to earn. So it was alien to us. Before we went to the World Cup, we hadn't made any budget for the payment of appearance fees. So quickly we had to engage them and then do a report. You remember? I remember I did a handwritten report at the time and sent it by fax. Email was not popular.
Yes, around that time.
Email was not popular. So I sent it by fax to Honorable Obi Amoah quickly that this is the issue that had come up in camp and we needed to address it as a matter of urgency. So quickly we agreed on the amounts with the players and the money was sent to the Ghana mission in Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then they transferred it to a bank near the team-based camp in Wolfsburg.
Yes.
And then we paid the players. But it was really a thorny issue. So the learning point from 2006 was that we needed to engage players ahead of the World Cup. So by 2010, we had gathered enough experience in appearance fees business and engaged the players adequately. So I remember at Protea Hotel, we had a meeting, the senior players, Stephen, John, and what have you. We had a meeting with the then minister, Honorable Kwesi Danswa. We had a meeting to discuss this appearance fee business. And then we appeared before cabinet, chaired by the
You had to go to cabinet to justify why the players had to pay them.
Yes. To justify before His Excellency, the president of the time, the late
Alhaji Ali Mahmoud.
No,
Professor Mills. Prof. Mills,
Prof. Mills was the president at the time. Because the government needed to understand what we were paying and whether it was
justifiable.
No, not only that. Was it a loan or it was a grant? You know?
I see.
Yes. Once FIFA was going to repay, it means that whatever government was paying was refundable. And then he brought his finance minister, Dr. Dufour at the time.
Yes, yes.
And for us to discuss all this is for him to also advise the president whether they could accommodate it. So that's how it was done. So in 2010, there was no dispute about.
Wasn't the $75,000 people said you were going to pay to them? Was it $75,000?
In
the 2010 World Cup. People
the appearance fee that we paid.
Yes, that's what the media had reported.
It's possible because in 2014 it was 100,000.
Yes.
The appearance fee was 100,000. In 2010, maybe 50 or 75, something like that.
Yes.
Well, it's been paid already, so it's been paid and spent, so it's no longer an issue.
Yes.
But there was no qualms, there was no dispute, there were no questions about appearance fee in South Africa. The bonuses, everything was discussed and agreed upon between management of the FA, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and then the players. So there was really no problem. And
that was a tournament we had the best of performances under your tenure, right?
Yes. In fact, one of the best World Cups for Africa, not only under my tenure, but the whole of the African continent. Africa had gone to 2 previous World Cups and reached the quarterfinals. So Ghana's attainment of a quarterfinal appearance at the 2010 World Cup was an event that equaled the 2 previous records that Africa had set. In far away 2002, Senegal, and then 1990 for Cameroon.
Yes,
we were just knocking on the doors of semi-final.
You want to recall what happened after that against Uruguay?
It was very unfortunate. When the referee awarded the penalty kick, I said I couldn't watch the penalty. I got off my seat and walked into the waiting area at the VIP. So I watched the penalty kick on TV.
Yes.
I couldn't watch it.
Oh, really?
Yes. I couldn't watch the thing live. I was frightened. I couldn't watch it. I don't know whether that was a prior notice to me that things were not going to be well. But I was frightened by that. I thought that. I didn't know how we were just going into the semi-final. It was going to be a big feat for Africa. Not for me as a person or the GFA as an institution, and not for my country, Ghana, but the whole of Africa.
The whole of Africa.
Because at the time that we got to the semi-final, we were the only African team in the competition.
Yes, yes.
The whole of the African continent, together with, I think, the whole black race, were rooting behind the Black Stars. Unfortunately, we couldn't go beyond that. Then in 2014, with the benefit of the experiences of 2010 and 2006, we thought this would be our best World Cup. We thought we would even make it to the semi-final.
I do recall that friendly match that was played at the Accra Sports Stadium against a local side, building up to that World Cup, and everyone was confident that this year we're getting to the semi-final.
And the euphoria was like the 2006 euphoria.
Yes.
In 2014, the hopes were very high. We all thought that we were going to do a good job. Unfortunately, that was our worst World Cup performance amongst the 3, and the reason was that we had the same appearance fee.
Yes. Appearance, which became very dominant in the airways. Yes.
You know, I never expected appearance fee to be an issue for us. In 2006, our next door neighbors, Togo, were reeling under the problem of appearance fees. Players threatened, in fact, they did not threaten. Players held management hostage and refused to train. So Sepp Blatter had to intervene personally to assure them monies would be paid so they should go and train and play their matches. And it was also realized that an appearance fee dispute could scandalize the whole World Cup.
Yeah, the whole tournament.
Yes. So FIFA intervened. So in 2010 and 2014, we're so mindful of this potential problematic issue. So we put a lot of measures in place and advised that the monies should be paid the players, because once you agree and you have your 23-man squad, it was just right that you pay them. But this was not done. We went to Amsterdam to play our last match, and appearance fee came up. The minister had to come down and then see to the payment and assure that it would be done. We went to the US.
But it was approved by cabinet, it should be paid.
The money was approved. The money was approved by cabinet. The money was transferred from the Minister of Finance, I think the approval process,
yes,
to the Bank of Ghana on 26th or 23rd of May.
Really?
Yes.
For a tournament that was going to start in June?
Yes. The Commission of Inquiry revealed that there was approval, the money went to the Bank of Ghana on that day and had to be, the account of the Minister of Youth and Sports had to be credited for the money to be paid to the players. They were to be given checks.
Yes.
It was never done. So when the Commission of Inquiry was set up, that was the issue that needed to be confronted headlong.
But they never came to the FA because you were in charge of the management of the game.
But the money was not GFA money. And I'm not a public officer. I wasn't a public officer at the time. I had no control. I was not the accounts officer. The GFA does not authorize or administer public funds. There are public officers who are responsible for that. If the money was paid to the GFA and the GFA did not disburse it, then the GFA had questions to answer. But this was not the situation. The money, the account of the Ministry of Youth and Sports ought to have been credited by the Bank of Ghana. The money went to the Bank of Ghana on 23rd or 26th of May 2014, and it was not paid. Up to the time that His Excellency the Vice President visited the team on the eve of the first game, the money had not been paid. The players were assured that the money will be paid. They played the first match, no show.
No show.
Second match, no show.
No show.
Third match, they decided to do Togo.
So how did you resolve that situation of players revolting, saying that they were not going to train, and how did you resolve that?
For me, I was surprised because we had been engaging them. And the assurances that we gave that the money will be paid, even though we didn't have control over the money, we thought they believed us. They did not believe us because several assurances had been given and none of them was fulfilled.
Yes. So at that point, they were right not to trust you anymore.
Yes. Yes, we had proven to be unreliable, but we didn't even have control over the money. We didn't have
How
control.
disgraceful was it that the whole world had Ghana money flying all over to Brazil? Could you even look at other FIFA and CAF officials in the face? That
it was unimaginable. It was unimaginable that money could be flown across the Atlantic to pay appearance fees of players. And that attracted so much global attention, negative attention. Our country was not done a favor at all at that time. The media was not favorable towards us, and it didn't portray us in a very good light. And that was the West World Cup. It blighted all the achievements that we had made in previous
and took away the goodwill of the association.
Yes, it did. It was not a good time for us at all. It wasn't at all.
Because I do recall that press conference at Alisa Hotel when you returned from the World Cup and had to appear before the media and address some of these concerns.
Of course.
And one thing that was very prominent around that time was the claims that the FA engages these players, like people claim that you will engage the players so that the players will go and ask for more money because the FA also wants to get money.
That was a very simplistic argument to make. These players, you are able to influence them to demand money so that you also get money. They are very independent-minded people. I think people are underrating footballers. Footballers are very intelligent people. A lot of them are well educated. They can reason for themselves. We really debate and engage them for long periods of time to arrive at decisions. Nobody can have an easy or a cozy ride over players. It's not that easy. Maybe people think players are children. They are not.
Okay. So there were two other interesting things that transpired within that period. The Sule Muntari and Kelvin Prince Boateng being kicked out of camp. How did that happen? What happened? What transpired that Sule Muntari, because we saw him against Germany. He was arguably one of our best players on that field that day. Then Oliver asked to wake up against Portugal. Sule Muntari kicked out of camp.
But they were not kicked out of camp for technical reasons. They were kicked out of camp for on disciplinary grounds. There was a fight. A fight broke out. And I remember I was begging him, please, please, please. I don't want to go into the details of that fight, but the fight was uncalled for, and the fight was unwarranted. It was needless. The embarrassment that I brought the whole team was just unbearable. So that was the best decision to take at that time. On many occasions, there have been times that players have done certain things that we've forgiven them or we've overlooked them. But this was something you could not overlook.
Have you ever knelt down to beg a coach to take Suleiman Tari to a tournament?
Yes. In 2010, I did it. I did it. I did it twice, not even once, twice. I did it. The first one was at Milton Keynes when we went to play Latvia. And then what happened? From Amsterdam, we went to play Latvia. We went to play Netherlands in Rotterdam.
Yes.
Then we flew to London and to Milton Keynes to play Latvia. As soon as we landed at the airport, he vanished. He went to town. And the story was that he had gone to see Michael Essien or some friends of his. So when we got to our hotel and a head count was carried out and he was missing, the coach said he was out of the team.
Was this Milo?
Yes, it was Milo.
Yeah.
It was Milo.
So you had to beg him?
Yes, I did it. I did it not because I had any personal gain or interest, but I was looking at the bigger picture of the country and the team.
Yes.
At that time, our team was doing well. We had almost settled and gotten ready to leave to South Africa. And I believe that a suspension of a key player like Suleiman Tari would have taken the shine away from the team.
And brought you negative attention.
Yes. And we also had to look at what did he do? Was it a major scandal or something that could scandalize the team or an issue? When we discussed it and pointed to the coach that this is something peculiar to players, sometimes it happens. If we can warn or reprimand him and give him another chance, let's do that for the sake of the team. He agreed. Then something else happened again in South Africa. And he said, in fact, that time he told me that if Sule were in the team, Sule was my player, not his player.
So Sule went to the World Cup as your player. That was quite an interesting one for Milo.
Yes,
but the 2014 World Cup, many people actually said that because you went with a local coach, which was Kwesi Appiah, that was why they said he didn't have control over the players.
The problem he had with Kevin Boateng probably is testament to the belief that people held in that. Some people thought that Milo, for instance, would have handled it differently.
Much better.
Because the work of a coach really is to do a lot of people or man management. You need to manage the players' expectations, be able to control their emotions, and then get them to give up their best. But if the players can overrun the coach and do what they want.
Did they overrun Kwesi Appiah?
No, Kevin just burst out, and said some unprintable things to him out of, I believe, anger.
Yes.
But it didn't show respect to the coach. We all didn't like it. That's why we threw him out of the camp. If you don't respect the coach, how do you even take instructions?
Of all the coaches you've worked with, who has stood out tall for you?
Oh, Milo, of course. Milo has been the most successful coach we've had in my time.
Yes.
Yes, the most successful coach. I don't think it's disputable. If you want to dispute it, tell me who was better than him.
One can also say Ratomir Djokovic, though he did it with other coaches like the likes of Dosena and
Marino Barreto.
Because they started the qualification series and Ratomir came and took us to the World Cup. So
when Barreto left, our next game was against Congo in Kumasi.
Yes.
We played 0-0. We nearly lost that match.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes. I recall that.
Yeah.
So someone can also argue that, there's...
Then
because the first man to qualify to the World Cup
came. One result can change a lot of things.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you think the second coming of Milo was
for me? No. Many second comings of coaches are not advisable. I think that he had his time. But we wanted Milo to continue after 2010, and he left.
So tell us that story, because there have been so many stories surrounding it. Why did he leave? Because people said you couldn't get the money he was looking for him, and he left. So
the contract hadn't run out. Milo, I think we went to play a match in Swaziland, the 2012 African qualifiers.
Yes, I recall that.
Yes. So from Swaziland, Milo sought permission to go home. He sought permission to go to Serbia.
Yes.
So he traveled on Turkey Airline to Istanbul, from Johannesburg to Istanbul, and then to continue to his country. Then a few days later, we heard that Milo was in Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, he went to Saudi Arabia. He didn't tell us he was going to sign a contract.
But did you try renewing his contract?
We did. We did. Because we were really interested in his continuation.
What were his concerns? Or he didn't give you any concerns of why he was not going to
Milo
continue?
never discouraged us. He never gave any indication that he was not going to stay and continue the work. He gave us all the assurances, as far as I'm concerned. He gave me all the assurances that he was going to continue the work. We didn't know that there was a bigger bag being dangled in front of him somewhere.
I want us to talk briefly on the upcoming FIFA World Cup in Qatar. But before that, just pick out your tenure as the FA president. Which year or which period would you say was the most successful, and which one was the most difficult for you?
This is an examination question.
Because there was the first tenure from 2005. Was it 2005 to
2011?
Yes, 2011.
Then 2011 to 2015.
So that first tenure, how would you describe that first tenure?
Up to 2015, things were smoother than after 2015. After 2015, people thought that I had stayed for too long.
Yes.
But this was not an appointed office. It was an elected one.
Office.
And so if you didn't like the person, go to the poll, the ballot box, and vote him out. But some of them didn't even have the confidence to contest you. So they had to resort to I'll call it extra curriculum activities. Paying media men here and there to run you down and saying, calculating and lying about you here and there. Some of the things that people said about me, when I heard them myself, I was surprised. I
heard one from the Nigerian reporter who said that he was seated in his house listening to radio, and then the presenter was like, "CCA on the number." Was he CCA? Okoshia or Tumfo CCA? And I'm like, I'm sitting in my house. I said I'm going to stay no Tumfo house.
That is what happens. You know, when you are at a position of what I call it, prestige.
Yes.
That many people are looking up to. They find a way to do away with you. They will lie, say things that I'm sure you heard a lot of those.
Yeah, I had many. Yes, I had many. Yes. And I remember even in 2015, I wrote an article that said that if people say Kwesi Nyantakyi is as corrupt as they claim, why can't they contest him and take him out of position?
Yeah. That's the point. They are all cowards.
Oh, really?
They are all cowards. Yes. They don't even have the confidence to stand up to you. They'll come to meetings and you are able to convince them. Or you offer superior arguments, so they are quiet.
Is that why Palmer says that you are always engaged in intellectual discourse and you ended up...
Yes, that's what I believe in. I believe in the sanctity of freedom of expression. You go to a meeting, you exercise your intellectual power and defeat me, or you succumb to me, that's all. So I come there and I lay my cards bare on the table and I engage everybody. They will keep quiet. They cannot even argue with you. When you are not there, they will be lying about you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Some of the things that people said about me, I had gone to Puma to sign a contract without the knowledge of the executive. There are minis to it. Minis. There are minis. And there are records of monies that are paid to the FA. The FA's money never got missing, but they said it.
The first Puma deal, you signed it at Alisa, right? Was it Alisa?
That
Abadi?
hotel,
Abadi?
The other one. La Palme.
La Palme.
Correct, in 2005.
How did you secure that sponsorship?
Oh, a lot of people promoted it.
Oh, okay.
There were a lot of people who promoted it, and my friend, this gentleman in Sunyani, Ransford, was also part of the people.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
We are going to another World Cup, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. That starts just next month. You went to the 2006 World Cup. Otoado, who is the current head coach of the Black Stars, was part of that team you led to that tournament. Based on the experience you've acquired, what sort of preparations do you think we must have to ensure that we have a better participation in this tournament?
For me, I think Otoado is a unique person in the setup of the Football Association, because he took part in the 2006 World Cup as a player.
Yes.
Then in the 2014 World Cup, he was there as part of the technical team. And then in 2022, he's going there as a head coach. So he's had the benefit of almost every experience in the team.
Yes.
So I expect him to do well in managing the players. I expect him to do well in instilling discipline in the team. I expect him to be firm and operate according to the standards, the highest standards or best standards in coaching. I expect him to do his very best and ensure that we achieve the best in this World Cup. He should perform beyond the milestones that we have achieved in the past, because as a person, he has seen it all.
Yes.
As a player, he was part of the team that negotiated bonuses with us. So we should be able to quell any agitations about bonuses from the front of players.
I see.
From the part of the technical team, he was there as a scout. He did a lot of work. His backroom staff, he should be able to motivate them and get them to give of their best.
Yes.
He has seen a lot of coaches. He worked under Kwesi, he worked under Ratome Dukovic,
Yes.
and then he worked under Milovan Rajvac. Is how to manage these players, blend them, and ensure that they produce the desired results for us. That is the responsibility of Otoado and the management of the FA, led by my friend Keto Kreku. I hope that they will live up to expectation. I think Otto must put in his very, very best. This is an opportunity for him as one of the few black coaches from Ghana, the second after Kwesi Appiah, to lead the Black Stars to the World Cup. And fortunately, the country is behind him, and he has to deliver. He should not let us down.
Just a quick one, then we'll wrap up this conversation. If you take a look at the numbers Otto has chalked so far, many people are not quite confident. But I do recall some people were doing the statistics, and they tell us that anytime we are going to the World Cup, we often do not have the best of friendly matches, results. I remember Turkey, we lost to Turkey in 2006. I remember we lost to the Netherlands prior to the 2014 World Cup. Even 2010, we lost to the Netherlands again before defeating Latvia, and then subsequently we went to the tournament and we made it to the quarterfinal. You've spoken about how Otto has got the experience because he has seen it all across all spheres. What would make Otoado successful?
I think I've said it. Otto must be firm. Otto must instill discipline and make sure the players comport themselves well and operate according to the rules. And Otto must ensure that he teaches or leads the team with the right technical approach to the matches. I'm not a coach, so I cannot even tell.
I don't know if this will sound very controversial, but I need to ask. Many have always alleged that officials of the FA had always had interest in who plays for the team and all that. And even as we go to this World Cup, people are talking about it. People claim that the FA officials oftentimes determine which players should be selected and all that. Is this a reality, or just speculations that we put out there?
As far as I'm concerned, it's a rumor, unfounded rumor. No coach worth his salt will allow somebody to dictate to him who should play and who should not play. If any coach did that, then he's not a coach. I will call him something else and not a coach. Because as a coach, the responsibility lies squarely at your doorstep.
Was that how you dealt with your coaches?
Yes. Yes. Let me tell you an experience. In 2010, a government official came to me before our first match against Serbia and said that this was about 3 hours to the match, that the president of the country wanted the lineup.
The president?
Said, yes. He didn't say that the minister. He said the president. I said, I don't do selection. I don't have any lineup for you. What I know is that the coach will do his... this was in the morning, not 3 hours before the match, more than 3 hours before the match. I told him that the coach will do his technical meeting at the hotel just around lunchtime. And that is where he will announce the team. And that is where we get to know who plays and who doesn't play.
Who will not play.
But before that, I have no idea as to who plays or who gets selected and who doesn't get selected. So I have no role in that. My duty is to help the coach to do his work. I don't tell him which player to select and which player not to select. And the same applies to every other member of management. I believe that this is the standard practice everywhere. There is no way that an FA president will go and tell a coach to select a player. If anybody allowed that to happen, then you are not a coach. You are just walking around the team.
But there were claims that sometimes you take the coaches into meetings and ask them why they've called player A, B, C, and all that.
Exactly. When we watch the training or after the match, this person didn't do well, we will ask why he fielded him, because he takes responsibility for it. If the coach didn't select, we will not ask him why he put the person there.
But do you often engage him before he selects the final squad, like to justify the squad he's assembling for a tournament?
Yes. Even we did that at the Executive Council. The Executive Committee of the FA will invite the coach and his technical team to present the 23, and then they will ask questions why A and B are there and C and D are not there. It was normal practice. Even then, after that, there were press conferences where the coach would justify the selection of players to the public, because we were acting on behalf of the people of Ghana. But we were not in any position to tell the coach to drop A or B. But we will ask you for your criteria and why you selected A and not B, and for you to explain.
How far do you think Ghana can reach at the 2020 World Cup? How far? Quarterfinal?
This World Cup?
Yes. Quarterfinal, semi-final, final?
I'm just praying for the best.
Quite a difficult question, isn't it?
Yes. It's a textbook question.
Yeah, but there are people who actually think that we can make it to the semi-final.
Well, I'll be happy if we get there. Let's pray for that.
Club football, do you think you could have done better? People say club football collapsed under your administration.
Really? Where was it that it collapsed?
Well, people, okay, if you take a look at what has been happening within the media space, they will tell you that, oh, we're playing on better pitches now, the pitches are bad, players, exodus of players increase under your tenure and all that.
I think that is a credit to me, that there was a high exodus of players. It means that the Ghanaian player was now attractive to the international player markets. And if there was no quality in the Ghana League and the Ghanaian clubs and players, nobody would take your player abroad. Yes. And there is equally high exodus in China, in Brazil and Argentina. Will you say their leagues, local leagues are dead? No. I think that it is presumptuous for anybody to say that, because it's easy for anybody just to come to that conclusion. But you needed to get to the fundamentals and see what was happening. You know, the dynamics of the game had changed. Football pitches was not even the responsibility of the FA.
The
FA has no budget to construct football pitches. But on a few occasions, we tried to improve playing surfaces.
Yes, yes.
In Swedru, we did it. In Brekum, we did it. You know, within the limited budget of the Football Association. But football infrastructure is the responsibility of the clubs and for national team and the government, because district assemblies were also supposed to promote sports. The central government has a responsibility to promote sports. And if we look at the sporting facilities in Ghana, 99% of them are state-owned.
One thing I didn't even add is that our performance in Africa dropped. we get knocked out of the preliminary phases of the CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup.
You must look at the dynamics. It's very simplistic for you to say the FA didn't do their work well. But let's take Asante Kotoko. Last year they won the league.
Yes.
Where are the players? All of them have been sold out, mostly to African teams.
Yes.
Because the club needs to survive. They don't have money to run the club. And so they have to start from afresh.
Is it our economy that does not support the development of local food?
Your economy is not so strong, so you are not able to invest in these other areas. Most of the best football clubs in Africa, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, then South Africa, Congo Democratic, and recently Tanzania. Senegal, Guinea, and all those people.
It means that the North Africans are doing well, but when it comes to the Sub-Saharan Africans, we struggle.
It's resourcefulness. These are more resourceful countries that have budgets for football infrastructure. They are able to attract the best players, pay them well, develop pitches. You go to Morocco, you think it's Europe. Maybe because they are close to Spain. But it's not only that. It's not only that.
Yes.
It is also because they have the resources to invest in those things. Look at our two biggest clubs, us and Kotoko. Where are their training grounds? Even where they train.
Well, Hasabuk is now struggling to put up one.
After more than 100 years in existence.
Kotoko too is struggling to do
Correct.
same after 80
If you
something
go
years.
to Raja, Casablanca, or WAC of Morocco, plenty pitches. You know, somebody will say probably it's not our priority. It is not just that it's not our priority, but it is also based on the resourcefulness of these clubs. Asofok is run on the shoulders of one man.
One man.
He has to dip his hand into his pocket to finance it. They floated shares in the company, and what became that of that? Nothing. There's nothing to write home about. So the financing and the financial setups of clubs need to be reviewed. If they continue this way for the next 100 years, we will dip further.
If they continue this way for the next 100 years, we will dip further. That is the former president of the Ghana Football Association, former vice president, first vice president of CAF, a former FIFA Foundation member, FIFA Council member, speaking to us here on Prime Take.